In a quiet corner of Professor Poppy's laboratory lived a clever little mouse named Marvin. While most mice were content with crumbs and hiding in corners, Marvin was different. He was curious. He would peek at the professor's notes, watch colorful liquids bubble in glass tubes, and especially loved the big machine on the table with shiny knobs and glowing lights, the microscope. What's so special about that tube with a lens? Marvin often wondered. She looks through it every day and writes in her big science journal. One night, when the lab was silent and Professor Poppy had gone home, Marvin climbed up the microscope table. As Marvin examined the microscope, he accidentally pressed a green glowing button. Zap! A soft flash of light surrounded him. Suddenly, everything looked huge. The dust specks on the table were now towering boulders. A droplet of water nearby shimmered like a lake filled with strange, wiggling creatures. Where am I? Did I just shrink? Marvin squeaked. Wait! I'm inside the microscopic world. Marvin began exploring. He met a cheerful paramecium who spun like a wheel. Hi there! I move using little hair-like parts called cilia, it said. Cilia help some microbes swim or move food. Next, Marvin bounced on the springy surface of a pollen grain, which looked like a giant spiky ball. He sneezed. He then floated on a bubble near a bacterium that was dividing into two. Wow! That's how bacteria reproduce, through binary fission. Marvin gasped. In a drop of pond water, he saw algae, amoebas, and even tardigrades, also known as water bears, marching along slowly. Microscopes let us see tiny life forms we can't see with our eyes alone. Some live in water, on plants, or even in your mouth. Suddenly, Marvin heard shouting. A group of beneficial bacteria were trapped inside a sticky glob of green goo. Help us, they cried. The mold is taking over. Marvin thought fast. He knew from Professor Poppy's notes that some molds grew fast and could overpower helpful microbes. He used a tiny leaf like a paddle to stir clean water toward the goo, breaking it apart just enough for the bacteria to escape. You saved us, the bacteria cheered. You really know your science. Marvin wandered back toward the microscope's lens, where a soft light pulsed again. Zap! In a blink, he returned to his normal mouse size on the table. Professor Poppy returned the next morning and noticed something odd. Her microscope had been used, and her notebook had a tiny paw print inside. She smiled. Whoever used my microscope last night really knows how to observe, she whispered. Marvin hid behind a jar, holding a tiny scrap of paper where he had drawn what he saw. That evening, Marvin looked up at the stars and squeaked happily. There's a whole universe of tiny life we don't see, and I've seen it all. What is the science takeaways of story? Share your mind.